welcome to my channel. This is the first video of this channel. Okay, so in this channel we are only discussing or we are only creating the real life applications. Okay, so basically all the applications is related to Flutter. Okay, and we are going to use different kind of backend technologies. Okay, also we are going to add machine learning AI kind of thing. Okay, so in this video we are going to create one AI expense categorize applications, which is a Flutter applications. As you see here, for the AI we are going to use SVM and the Ngram, and using FastAPI we are going to interact with the front end and back end part. Okay, our AI will be interact with. Okay, and front end is Flutter, as you know, and in the back end we are going to use Node.js, and framework will be used by Express. Framework uses Express, and our database will be PostgreSQL. Okay, so in these applications, basically whenever user wants to type anything in the description, based on the description AI will give us the top 3 categories according to the description. Okay, from that category user can select any category according to their choice. Okay, let me see one example here. Suppose we are going to create one example like Uber bill. So whenever we click on the Uber bill, our AI will give us the main three categories. It is travel, utilities, and health. Okay, as it is bill, we can add as Uber bill, so we can definitely choose travel. Okay, also you can say utilities also, select utilities also. Based on your category, you can select as per your requirement. You can select. Okay, right? If you select travel, our selected category will be travel, and we can add the amount. Okay, suppose $12.22. Okay, when we save the expense, it is save the expense. Now suppose we create one category like education course, sorry, not education course, like Hindi speaking course. Okay, so Hindi speaking course basically comes under the education. Okay, education category. So if we are not going to select any category, suppose we type the description, we give the amount, and we forgot to select any category. As you see, I didn't select any kind of category. Okay, so if user didn't select any kind of category, so in that case our AI will automatically pick the topmost prediction that our AI give. Okay, now in this list the topmost category is education. So when I save the expense, it will take the topmost category and it will save automatically. As you see here, in this speaking course, this is the category education. As you see here, this is the category education. So our AI will automatically detect the category and it will paste it here. Okay, so this is a simple application where we are going to learn AI part. Also we are going to learn card operation also. Not all card operation, only create and get. Okay, here we create the list. Sorry, here we create the this is from, when I save it we create it, and here in the list we get it. Okay, we are not see the update and deletion part. Okay, it's simply the basics, create and get the data from our database. Okay, also here I add login and registration also, because this expense is only see by the user ID. Okay, so suppose if I give my user ID. Okay, I don't think so I have created any expense here. As you see, there is no expense in my ID. So if I using as you see, zone has all the expenses. Okay, so in backend we are going to create the APIs for our login, registration, add expense, get expense, and also get the suggested category also. Okay, and in the middleware we are going to use the FastAPI to get our categories from the our AI model. Okay, so first of all we need to create our AI model. I'm going to break this series in the 3 or 4 part. In the first part we are going to as I already created the AI part, I already created the model in my system. So, okay, so we are not going to see the AI part, although I am going to give you the code for the AI part also. In the you will get the GitHub link in the video description. Okay, so from the video description you can get the AI coding part. Okay, so I already created the AI part. So in this video we are basically going to see the API creation part. Okay, we are going to test it using the Postman. So after creating the APIs and testing the APIs, then we are going to shift then we are going to shift to the front end part. Okay, using the Flutter. Okay, so mm, just do one thing. I just clear all those things. So as you see, this is my AI part. This is my categorical model file. I think it is visible. Okay, if it not, okay, it is visible, right? So here I use SVM and grams. Okay, so you can use the naive base also. There is no problem using the naive base. All these are the all these are using for the text extraction. From this code we are extract the text from the description, and from the description we select our categories. If you see my CSV file, this is my database. Basically this is a small database, 120, I think 132 fields are here. Okay, so as you see, this is the description, this is the category part. So this is the description and this is the category file. As you know, we need to train our model. Okay, so this is our database. So here we train our model. As you see here, we load our database, we split it, then we build a pipeline. Okay, using SVN and ngram. Then after that we take the hyperparameter tuning. Here we need to do some tuning using the grid search CV. If you don't know anything about this, just take the code and just Google it. Okay, then we create the base model. Okay, then we save the model in the pickle format. Okay, so this is the simple model part. Then we created our first API here. As you see, this is our save model. This is our save model. So we take the model and we created the middleware where we interact with the front end and back end part. Okay, so this is the first API part. Okay, now we are going to create our API part, which will be the middleware of our front end and back end. Okay, now we are going to create our backend part. So just do one thing, go to our main folder. Okay, not go to our main folder, just open our terminal. Let me do one thing. Okay, just open our terminal, and here we need to create our node project. Okay, just do one thing. Okay, now we need to install our packages. Okay, first will be Express, second will be course. Okay, then we need Postgres, then we need .env, then we need bcrypt.js, and okay, and then yeah, I think that's it. We need nodemon also, but we are going to add the nodemon as a dev dependency. Okay, so npm I save dev nodemon. Okay, so it will save as a dev dependency. Okay, so if you see here, node modules and the package of JSON file, if you see, our nodemon is added as a dev dependencies. Okay, so now just do one thing, just go to a script and here add dev nodemon index.js. here it will be server.js. okay, just do one thing, src server.js. okay, so here we need to create one folder which will be src. Inside that src we need to create one file which will be server.js. okay, now I need to create some folder here. Okay, first of all, for for Postgres I need in our .env file we need to add some field like our DB user. My DB user is Postgres, my password is 1234, just simple password. Is the DB host, always DB host will be local host, and DB port is always 5432. If you change it, then you can use your port, and my DB name is express tracker. Okay, so in our .env file I put all these things. Now first thing first, I need to create some folder here. Okay, first of all there will be controllers, then there will be roots, I think I need one service folder also. Okay, now in the source file I need to create one file which is by db.js, which will be db.js. okay, here I need to import the .nef and I need to import the pg. Okay, pg means Postgres. Okay, so import. Okay, just one thing, here it is module. I need to change the type to module. Okay, import .env from .env, and I need import package from pg. Okay, and I need to configure the .nef here. Okay, then I need to create one pool from the pg. Okay, now I need to create the pool where I need to initialize all of my user, host, database, password and port also. Okay, then we can export it. So what I did, I just do one thing, create a new pool where my user will be process.env.db.users and my host will be db.host, my database will be db.dname, and my password will be process.env.db pass. Okay, and my port will be env.db.port. Okay, so my user, host, database, password, port is done. Now I simply need to close it. Okay, then we can simply export it using pool. Okay, so that's it, my db.js file is done. Now I just do one thing, I just close the server. Now I need to create one controller. Okay, before creating the controller I just do one thing, I just create one services for my AI part. AI part basically means I need to call my AI URL, because if you see, if I run my model first API, if you see my first API is run on different URL. Okay, if you see, just do one thing, and when I just do one thing, when I load it, if you see my first API is run on this URL, right? We need to call that URL on URL also, right? So for that I need to create one services which will call this URL. Okay, so create one file which will be AI service.js. Okay, where I need to import the, okay, for importing the Axios is state management. For the Axios I need to import the Axios too, right? Just do one thing, just say what Axios is. Okay, Axios is imported to. Now import Axios from Axios. Now create one AI URL. Okay, where I need to pass that URL. Okay, one 27. Just copy this URL. Okay, and and paste it here. Okay, this is my URL which is running on 800 port. Okay, now export sync function. I need to create one function which will give me the get category suggestion. Okay, category suggestion using the description. Okay, now I can do one thing. I can just do one thing. Okay, now inside it, if description the trim is empty. Description and the description is not available, then we simply return null. Simply return null. Now try response await executes the post. We are using the post and the suggestion. If you see my main.py file here, post is in the post method. We are using predict category, right? We need to use that, not the suggestion. We need to use the post category. Okay, now here we taking the description. Okay, here we taking the description. Here I am taking the description. Okay, now return. The return will be array is array response data. Okay, is array response as it is response dot data dot suggestions because if you see okay, as you see return, I am getting suggestions. Okay, I am like this is the array. In this array suggestion we are getting the top 3 category. My array is suggestion, so we need to call the suggestions array here. Okay, so now if response does data dot suggestions, it is empty. Okay, now I need to call the cats, which is error cats. So simply console response dot data. Okay, that's it. So my AI service will be ready now. My AI service ready. Okay, there is one problem. What is the problem here? Console AI suggestion error category suggestion. What is the error here? Okay, that's it. So my AI service is completed because using this only we are getting the suggestion. Okay, using these services we are getting the suggestion part. Okay, so now we need to create the controller. Okay, first controller will be the registration and login. After that we are going to the expense part. Okay, so first of all you need to create one user controller .js file. Okay, here we are going to import bcrypt, using bcrypt, and we are going to import the pull from the pull from, okay, sorry, pull from, not pull.js, db.js, okay, because our pull is inside the db.js. Okay, yeah, that's it. So first part will be registration, okay, user registration. So export register user async, we are going to use the uh, request and response. So first of all, you are going to use name, password, name, email, sorry, name, email, password. It will be we need to enter the name, email and password in the body section, okay, and then try and catch block. So here we are going to check user from our database. Okay, one more thing. First of here, using the pg admin, I already created my table. Okay, I will show you. This is my database expense tracker, as you see here in my db section. My, oh sorry, not db, the env file, my, this is my db name, database name. Okay, so here as you see in the public section, inside the schemas, inside the public, there is a table. Okay, this is my user table and this is my expense table. Okay, so if you see the code of my users, how I created the table, if you see okay, this is my user. Okay, create table, I added one id, name, email and password. Okay, and also there is an expense table. Okay, yeah, this is my expense table where we are taking the user id, we are taking the id from the user table in our user id section, in our user id key. Okay, we are taking the reference from our user table, from this table. Okay, from this table, this id is used here as a reference. Okay, and it is stored inside the user id. Okay, this is my table code. Okay, use just take one screenshot or pause the video and create the table using this code. Okay, create the user table and create the expense table. Okay, inside the tables. Okay, so now coming back to our code in our user controller. First of all, you need to check user check. Okay, we need to check the user. Okay, select star from users where email id. Okay, if there is an email id and user row length is greater than 0, then return user is already exist. Okay, yeah, I think, yeah, that's it. Okay, now we are going to check hash password. Okay, using the bcrypt, we are going to hash the password because we need to encrypt the password and we are going to store the encrypted password. If you see my table, in my user table, if I going to see my user table, as you see here, my password is encrypted. As you see here, my password is encrypted. Okay, now as password, now await pull query, we need to insert the user in our user table. Okay, so insert into users, name, email, password and values. Here it is assigned as $123, and we are going to enter the hash password, not the password that is written in the that will be given by the user. Okay, we are going to save the encrypted password. Okay, so now we are going to return the status 1201, user has returned successfully, user registered successfully. Okay, now there will be catch. If there is any error, registration error, registration now, response will be, sorry, response dot status, there will be internal server error. Okay, session message internal server error. Okay, this is the registration part, this is the registration, this is the registration API. Okay, now we are going to create our login. Now here login, here it is, register user. Okay, now here same as export cons login user. Okay, sync request and response. First of all, we are going to add the email and password in our body, and we are going to first of all check the email ID. If email ID is already exist, then if email ID is invalid, then we are going to give the user this invalid email ID or password. Okay, now we are going to const is match. We are going to check the password also, right? So if password is not correct, then we need to show the user that you are entered the invalid password. Okay, and okay, 400. Now then if it is all correct, then status is login successful. Okay, just do one thing, just not only print it, just do one thing here. Okay, here in the success, I am going to print it in different way. Okay, just do one thing, just okay, just here I am going to okay, I am going to pass the ID, name and email ID. Okay, I am going to pass the ID, name and email ID. In response, I am going to display all these things with our message. Okay, so this is the login part is done. Now we are going to create the root. Okay, we need to create the root because in our server.js file we need to use the root. From the controller it will go into the root, and root will be this root will be give us the link between the controller and the JS part. Okay, user roots.js. now here import, we are going to use the express framework. Okay, now just do one thing, const router express.router. We are going to use the router. Now we are going to use the router.post here will be register register, and we are going to use the register user from the controller, user controller.js. just put user controller.js. okay, then will be router.post login, then will be login user. Okay, then we are going to export it using the router. Okay, so my user controller router is complete. Okay, now in our server.js file we need to create our express server. We need to create our routes, and we need to connect our DB, and we need to check it. Okay, so just here in our servers.js file, first of all we need to import some dependencies. First of all we need to import express. Okay, from express, then we need to import the course from course, then we need to import .env from .env, then we need to import the roots, user roots as user.js, then we need to import pull from dp.js. okay, then db.config, then we are going to use the express, the framework, then we are going to use the port. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, we are going to use the 200 port. Okay, now there's the middleware where we are going to use the course and the express.json. Okay, these are the middleware. Okay, now here we need to create our routes. Okay, first will be api.users dot user routes. It will be like whenever we are going to test okay, whenever we are going to test it, we are going to see how these routes gonna work. Okay, now we are need to test db connection. Okay, now just do one thing, pool.connection, then connection is established. If not, then database connection is error. Okay, just connect to database connection successfully to PostgreSQL connection database error. Okay, now just do one thing, we server running. Okay, we need to start the server. Okay, so yeah, app.listen port, our server is running on this port. Okay, so just do one thing, okay, just save it, and now we are going to go to terminal and new terminal, and we need to run.dev. Okay, there is one error. App is crash. Why it is crash? Something is going on. Root controller. Okay, just do one thing, I will just check and one thing here. I think I did something wrong. Okay, there is a small error. I just had the slash uh, before the source file. Okay, so anything. Okay, my server is running on port 200 and my database connection successful to Postgres. Okay, everything is run perfect. Now I just do one thing, I just open the Postman. Okay, I just open the Postman, and what's going on. Okay, so here as you see, this is my local host is running on here in this port. Okay, now if you see in my server.js file, if you see here, after the slash, after the port, I am using the root /API/user. Then inside the /API and /user, we are giving the user root. Okay, so user root means it is basically indicating our controller. Okay, so here we are going to register user and we are going to login user. Okay, so if you see in my user roots, after the slash there is registration, after the slash there is login. Ultimately it will use the API/user. This is my root. Okay, this is my root, which is I am telling the server to use that. This is for the user, and after that we are using the roots, user roots. So user roots, there is two root. One is login, another one is registration, right? So first one is registration. So first one registration is post method. If you see here, registration is post method, login is also post method, and in our registration we need name, email and password, right? So go to our body, in raw, here use the JSON, and here first of all we need name. Okay, name is suppose Johnny. Okay, email is suppose Johnny @taste.com. Here right now I am not using any kind of validation. If you want, you can also use the validation also. Here you can use the validation also, but for now I am not using any kind of validation here. Okay, so yeah, if you see name, email and password is done. So now if we click send, okay, post API users registration post, there's an error here. Okay, why it is an error? If you see roots register, there is register, no registration. Okay, so if you see users register successfully, if you go to my post database, if I run it, if you see this is the Johnny.test and password is encrypted. Okay, so registration is done successfully. Now you are going to use the login. Now if you see login, also it is a post method. Now we need only email and password, right? If you see login successful, ID is here, name is here, email ID is here. If you notice one thing, when I give the login success message, if you see here, I give the message and I give the user ID, email and name here, right? If you see, this is user ID, name and email as a response. Okay, so my my login registration is completed. Now in the next part we are going to see how to add and get the expenses, also suggest categories, right? Because we need to suggest some categories, right? We need to suggest the 3 categories based on the description part. Okay, so next we will be creating the add expense part, get expense part. So for that we need to create one controller. Also one more thing, for like validation or for a like small security purposes, we are going to use one thing. Whenever we add expenses or whenever we get expenses, that expenses will be added or getting based on the user ID, right? If you notice my application earlier, we add the expenses we get the expenses based on the user ID, right? So whenever we going to add expense, get expense, we are going to get it using the user ID. Okay, so now just one thing, I will close it. Okay, so now we are going to add on controller, which will be expense controller. Okay, also there will be one root which will be expense root.js. okay, now first of all will be controller, same as before. We need to get the pull from the db.js. okay, also then we need one helper to resolve the user id, right? So we can get the resolve id, we can get the user id. So we need to add that user id. We can also add the user id in the body section. In the body section, if user pass the user id, that is also okay. Also we can do one thing in the header section. We created one key like user id kind of key, and in that header section also we can pass the user id, right? Okay, so pass user id as parameter. Okay, so here you can do one thing, we create one function, then resolve user id. okay, so here we are only going to request it. okay, so we are going to return the user id. So we are going to return in this header part. okay, here it will be x user id, not only the user id, here will be x user id, or in the body section also you can pass the user id, params dot. If you notice in my table we are using user underscore id. Where it is, where it is, where it is. As you see, user underscore id, we need to target that key, right? So user id. okay, so yeah, we are passing the user id in the header section. Now we are going to add expense, right? Add expense. So add expense, same user id will be going in the header section. We need to pass the, if okay, before passing the amount in the body section, if user id is not available, so user id is required. okay, we are going to pass it. okay, user id is required if it is not here. okay, that's it. Now we need to pass the description. First will be description, second will be category, and third will be amount. okay, so in the body section we need to pass it. If description category is okay, now just do one thing, description. okay, amount is required. okay, that is good, that is good. okay, if description categories amount is not there, okay, no, category is not mandatory, because if you see if user is not adding the category also, by using the AI part we are going to add the category, right? So here we can't use the category, here we can't add validation in the category. okay, so now let's try. If category is not provided, if category is not provided, get AI suggestion. okay, if not category, suggestion await. Just do one thing, await get, just do one thing in my AI section, get category suggestion, right? Get category suggestion. okay, we get it, get category suggestion, the description. okay, so if category is getter user first suggestion, okay, we are taking the first suggestion here. no category suggestion available. If there is no category suggestion, then okay, not passing the response here. Category is uncategorized. Okay, it is a fallback category. Okay, it is if there is no category, we are taking the from suggestion, we are taking the topmost suggestion or the first suggestion. Okay, now we need to insert. Okay, new expense, await pull query. Okay, now we are going to insert into expenses user id, description, category and amount. Okay, where okay, values 1 to 3, returning all, and user id, description, category and all. Okay, yeah, that is correct. If there is an error, error adding expenses, okay, 500 internal server. Okay, now that is correct. Okay, now if you see here in the add expense, what I did here, first of all we take the user id. Okay, if user id is not available, then we simply create one 400 error, that is user id is required. Okay, now we take the description, category and amount, and we add it in our body section. If there is no description and amount, okay, we can do one thing in our amount section. Just do one thing, type of amount undefined. Okay, is the amount is undefined, description amount are required, category is no amount are required. Okay, now if there is no category, from the suggestion part, if you see in our AI part, in our AI services, as you see here, from the using first API, from the first API, using the first API as a middleware, we are taking the suggestion, and here we are take the first suggestion here. Okay, we adding the first suggestion in the category. If there is no suggestion, we simply uncategorize it. Okay, it is a fallback category. Now then after that we add the expense in our expense table. Okay, now that's it. Now we are going to get the expense list. Okay, now get all the expense for the user. Okay, now get expense, here get expense. Okay, now same user id, if there is no user id is required. Try expense, we are selecting where user id equal to. Okay, we are selecting the user id and order by created at and descending order. Okay, that is correct. After that we are simply giving the okay, we are catch. Okay, now here if you see, if there is no user id, then we simply give one error message, user id is required. Okay, if we get the user id, then we simply purge the data from our expense table, where we we filter out based on the user id. Okay, we filter out based on the user id. After that we simply display the response here. Okay, if there is any kind of error, we simply display it as a 500 internal server error. Okay, now there is one more thing, which is suggested category. Okay, that will be suggested category based on the description. Okay, now here we can do one thing, const query, we are going to trim it. Okay, now if query is not there, if no query, return response suggestion empty array. Okay, if we whatever query we are giving, if that is not available, then we simply return one empty array. Okay, then try suggestions. We are getting the suggestion from our, as usual, from our AI services. Then we simply give the suggestions here. If there is no suggestion, there is internal server error. If there is any kind of error, there will be internal server error. Okay, now this is my controller page. Okay, now we need to create a root here. First of all, I need to import the express here from express. Okay, now we need to create one router. Okay, so after that we need to router dot, first of all we need to add, okay, sorry, we need to add, right? So we simply pass it add expense controller.js. okay, now after that router get expenses. Okay, after that there is one suggestion, right? Don't get as you suggest. Suggestion categories. Okay, then after that we are going to export it using the router. Okay, so our route is successful. Here we add expenses, we get expenses, and here we are getting the suggestion. Okay, now in our server.js file we need to import our router here, right? We need to import the router, expense router. Okay, now here we are going to use it. So now just check it. First of all we are going to check for suggestion part. Okay, expenses suggestion, just do one thing, query. Okay, so suggest here, if you see, this is the API slash expense. Now if you go, this is the suggestion, after slash we need to add the suggest. Okay, here it is suggest. Now if you see in our controller, here we are adding one query parameter, right? We are adding the query in our parameter. Okay, if you see query, so here I am adding the coffee shop. Okay, now I don't need this, but anyway, if you check it, okay, there is an error definitely because we are not running the server and also we are not running the FastAPI here. Okay, save it. After that go to a terminal. First of all run our database, we are our express server in our database. Okay, then after that AI and ubicorn main slash app dot result. Okay, no such option result. Okay, just one thing. Okay, sorry, reload, not resolve. Okay, now my first API is running here, my back AI is running here, my backend is running here. Okay, if you see here, I am getting the suggestion here. Okay, coffee shop. Whenever I enter the coffee shop, my suggestion will be food, travel, and utilities, right? Okay, my suggestion is perfect. Now if I want to add one suggestion, what I need, add one suggestion, sorry, add one expense, I need description, right? Description one. So here description will be like, suppose education course. Now here category. Okay, now here I am not going to select any category, I am not going to add any category. Okay, because I need to add it, because I want AI to add the category. Okay, this is my amount, description, category, amount. Okay, now here it will be post method. Okay, also one more thing, I need to add uh, user ID, right? I need to add user ID. Let me check the user ID of Johnny 9. Okay, my header x user ID will be 9. Okay, so now in the body section, as you see, I didn't add the category, right? Because this category will be added by the AI. Let me check whether it is okay. Okay, if you see here, I am not adding any kind of category here, right? I didn't add any kind of category here, but in the response I get the category as the education, because this education course gives us three categories, right? It gives us, suppose like education, utilities, something. So it take the first one, which is education, and it is gives the response as the education here. Okay, so yeah, my AI part is also add successfully. Okay, backend is also worked properly. Now just do one thing, just get it. Okay, I'm getting the expenses also. If you change the header here, if you use the one here, if you see here, I am getting the all the expenses for the user ID 1. Okay, and if you change it 9, okay, I am getting the expenses here also, right? So our AI and backend part is done successfully. Okay, so in the next video we are going to see our front-end part. We are going to connect our front-end with the backend, also the AI part also, right? Okay, thank you.